The driver had worked the night shift for nearly 6 years. He was known as someone calm, the kind of person who never scared easily. He often drove the late routes because the roads were quiet and the fares were better after midnight. On a Thursday night, just after 2 a.m., he accepted what he believed would be his final ride before heading home. The streets were almost empty. It had been raining for hours, and the road ahead was covered in reflections from the streetlights. As he passed an isolated bus stop, he noticed a woman standing alone under the shelter. She wasn't using a phone. She wasn't waving for help. She was just standing there, completely still, facing the road. The driver almost kept going, but something made him stop. As soon as he pulled over, the rear passenger door opened. The woman stepped inside and quietly shut the door behind her. He glanced at her through the mirror. She looked pale. Her clothes were soaked from the rain, but strangely there were no wet footprints where she entered. He asked where she was going. She didn't answer immediately. After several seconds, she leaned forward just enough for him to hear her and said, "Keep driving. I'll tell you when to stop." Her voice was calm, almost emotionless. The driver felt uneasy, but he assumed she was upset or intoxicated. He started driving. For the next 10 minutes, there was silence. No phone sounds, no movement, no coughing, nothing. Only the sound of the tires cutting through the rain. Every few moments, the driver checked the rearview mirror. Each time, the woman was staring directly at him. Not blinking, not looking outside, just watching him. At one point, he turned on the interior light for a second, pretending to adjust something. The back seat looked normal, but when he looked at her reflection in the mirror again, her face seemed closer than before, even though he hadn't heard her move. His hands tightened around the steering wheel. He asked again, "Where am I taking you?" This time she answered, "Turn left at the next road." The driver hesitated. That road led to an old neighborhood that had been abandoned years earlier. Most of the houses there were boarded up, and nobody lived on that street anymore. He considered refusing, but the woman spoke again. "You already stopped for me. Don't stop now." The driver later told his brother that those words were what frightened him most, because he never told her he had almost driven past. He turned left. At the end of the road stood a single house. Dark, empty, no lights, no signs anyone had been there in years. The woman said, "Stop here." The driver parked in front of the house and turned around to ask for payment. The back seat was empty. He froze. The door had never opened. He was certain of it. The child lock was on. Both rear windows were closed. There was nowhere she could have gone. He jumped out of the car and checked outside in the rain. No footprints, no person, nothing. Terrified, he drove home without taking another ride. That night he called his younger brother and told him everything. His brother laughed at first, thinking he was joking. But the driver was shaking so badly he could barely speak. The next morning, they checked the dash cam. The footage showed the driver stopping at the bus stop. It showed the rear door opening by itself. It showed the driver talking to someone in the back seat. He even moved slightly to the side, as if someone had entered and sat behind him. But the back seat remained empty the entire time. No woman appeared on the recording. 3 days later, the driver never came home. His car was found abandoned on the same road, near the same bus stop. The engine was still running. The rear passenger door was open. And on the seat, investigators found a small folded note. It was wet, as if someone had just placed it there. Written in neat handwriting were 5 words. "Thank you for the ride." The driver was never seen again. Case 001 remains unsolved.